बिना समझे पढ़ना, जैसे एवरेस्ट चढ़ना,
अकेले जंग लड़ना, I can't take it.
अब वेदांतु देगा प्रॉब्लम से छुटकारा। समझ आएगा तो मजा आएगा, मजा आएगा तो समझ आएगा। बेस्ट टीचर्स के गाइडेंस में पढ़ना इजियर होगा। एग्जाम या हो लाइफ, अब से हर स्टूडेंट विनर होगा। समझ आएगा तो मजा आएगा, मजा आएगा तो
Vedantu. Learn live online. To attend a free live class, download the app now.
Hello my dear students, this is Sundar Ravindranathan here. Welcome to yet another Know Your Dates series, where today I am going to speak about something very important, the print culture and how it impacted the lives of people. Where are we standing? Alright, let me start with something very interesting. Today we are living in what we call as the digital era, right? We have something called as a social media where we are able to communicate, pass on information, receive information in a flash, right? And imagine, alright, how it all started. I'm sure all of you would understand and would agree with me when I say that these things are very recent inventions. There was a time, we did not have mobiles, we did not have social media, we did not have even computers. Just take, before 5-6 decades. When I say common man, I'm speaking about common man using all these things. So how it all started? So today's session, it all started with something called as the print. So that is what we are going to deal with. We call it as the print culture, right? So now that's how it all started. It was the print culture. By print culture, what do we mean? Alright, it all started with hand printed information, right? And we are going to see the transition today, alright, and the important dates when these milestones, every milestone. I'm sure when we say the first book, when was the first book launched? What was the period? Which was the country who were the forerunners, who were the ones who started it all? We are going to see the entire print culture up to the modern world today, where we stand now, right? So I'm sure this journey is going to be very interesting. Be with me. Okay, let's get into the session, guys. Okay, what are we going to cover? Obviously, there will be a quick introduction, how it all started. Then the first printed books, I'll give you a glimpse of those books and the print in Japan. I will also speak about which country, all right, was the one who started it all, and slowly, how it moved to Europe. When we say Europe, especially Italy, and the most prominent names and the years when this all happened. And what is the impact of that? See, it is not, when we say print, why are we using the word culture along with it? Print impacts the entire culture of this human society. How it changes, because the way we get to know about others, the way we get to know about the world, the pace and the depth starts varying the moment you have this medium, which we call as the print medium, which is the first medium to come in. Right? People started understanding more about everyone. Right? People started getting to know about, all the inventions, discoveries, all information. And that's how the culture started expanding. And that we will see. And then the reading mania, because when we bring in print, it also brings in within a person's self, it also creates a culture, right? We call it as the habit of reading. Right? So how it started, reading mania as you would call it, as you see that, print culture, how it also impacted the different nationalist movement, including the French Revolution. Okay? And how people, who were conservative in nature, including women, alright, who didn't come out of their houses for such a long time, how they all started participating in the print culture and, started putting in their contributions, right? So all the innovations up to date. These are things that we will be dealing today, right? Okay. So quickly let us go to the introduction. So first, from the beginning, we are going to see how the print culture evolved in East Asia. So with that, my dear students, I think I have declared it all started in East Asia. Which country in East Asia? Any guesses? India? No? Alright, we will see. Okay. And you will also understand what was the impact of that. These are two very, very important, points, data points that we would be covering. Yeah, right. So see here, okay. So this is one painting, okay, which is before the age of the print culture. Alright, this was done by Akhlaqi Nasiri, 1595. Remember that. So here you can see that people are sitting doing everything manually. When we say manually, the print was more in the form of handwritten form. I hope you are able to see that so beautifully, right? Okay. People sitting, writing everything. All the manuscripts were handwritten. Okay. So now, what happened to them? These are more like artifacts and monuments that we are preserving now. Because this is the legacy and this is how it all started. So 1595, something that you need to remember. Akhlaqi Nasiri's, the workshop, right? So 16th century typically, end of the 16th century, right? First printed book, way back, it is in 594, before 594 AD, okay? It's a very bleak picture, but still, this is what we've got. Okay guys, so now you know, I hope you are able to see that. The first kind of print form evolved invented in China. China was the forerunner, guys, for this. Then comes Japanese and then the Koreans. Okay, and it all started with handprinting, as I said. However, China started inventing a print technology with rubbing paper. By rubbing paper, okay, and they also started using something called as a woodblock printing. Currently, before a decade or so, people, even in today's, there are some old forms of printing presses which use something called stencils, right? Similar stencils are created through wood blocks, right? I'll show you some pictures. No, not this. I'll show you some pictures of what is wood block printing, and that was also from China. Okay, and how it all started and when it all started, AD 594. Are you guys clear? Both sides, it was a porous sheet where it's kind of a stencil where you can see people started, the ink was poured, but it cannot be retained in both these sides. So what they did was the sheets they stitched on the sides, okay, to maintain that imprint. Okay, so this cannot be, it requires a very high level of accuracy, guys. It requires a high level of accuracy. Very, very skilled craftsmen are the ones who can, replicate, whatever has been written. You need multiple copies, right? Needs to be people who replicate things. Very accurate, highly skilled craftsmen, right? Okay. So as I said, to recruit these craftsmen, there were very, very, very strong, intense civil service examinations in China, of course. Imagine how interesting it is. When was the time? And that was the time when they started thinking about setting up processes for recruiting this highly skilled personnel. Yep, guys. So textbooks were printed, right, in large numbers through the imperial kingdom. All right, with the support of them. You need a lot of money for that. So, and starting from the 16th century, the number of people who came in, all right, who got selected, they started increasing, and that's how more imprints came in, more books came in, and the print culture started expanding in China. Right, guys? Okay, so quickly learn a new word, calligraphy. What is calligraphy? Calligraphy is text which is created in the form of art, in a very, very beautiful and stylish form. Even today we have calligraphy competitions happening around. Normal text written in such a stylish form. You can see that calligraphy. This is calligraphy. Right, guys? Okay. Right. I also wanted to tell about something very important. Why should I, apart from just giving you the dates, why should I speak about this entire evolution? Because you just can't remember the dates. Social studies just can't be remembered only with dates, only with facts. You need to move through the story to remember dates, to remember important events. That's the reason I'm taking you through the story. Of course, I will give you a summary at the end of the important dates when it comes to the print culture and the modern world. Yeah? Okay. So, we were just speaking about 1595, right? 16th century. By the end of the 17th century, all right, urban population came in. There were two types of people. One are the merchants who were there in towns. The other side, there were people, all right, who were in villages kind of, but who were working for them, right? So, with the evolution of the print culture, this got getting diversified. The expanding urban population started pushing the print culture across the society, right? Because with the moment people understood that more copies of books, everything started coming, the reading culture started developing. Because with that, this gave them the opportunity to read more about others' contributions, autobiographies, anthologies, all right, all including prose and poetry. Okay, and women. When we speak about women who did not come out of their households started contributing from within the houses. And there are few who started writing poems and prose and started publishing it. Okay, especially you will find that it all started with the wives, the household people of these scholars who were sitting inside their homes. They started contributing. Okay, that's how it all started. Yeah, you can see that wives of scholars officially, they published the books and started writing autobiographies and stuff. The reading culture started developing along with the developing technology, right? Shanghai became the new hub of the print culture, right, guys? A quick quiz for all of you. So from AD 594, books in China were printed using what? Printing machine, metal imprints, rubbing paper, bamboo stamping. China bamboo stamping. Any idea? All right. The third one, guys, by rubbing paper. I think I spoke about it, right? The answer is number 3, by rubbing paper. Got it? Okay. So the earliest kind of print technology, one more question, did not develop in this country. This was not the country where the earliest print technology came in. This was not the country. China, Japan, Korea, England. China, Japan, Korea, England. Come on, guys, come on. Type in your answers in the comment box. What could be that? Naturally, all right, it was East Asia where it all started. So obviously it's not going to be China, not going to be Japan, not going to be Korea. It will be Britain. England. Yeah, the right answer is England. You getting it, guys? Awesome. One more question. So it's just to summarize for you guys to re-register in your minds all the data that we covered till now. So which place in China became the hub of new print culture? I just spoke about it. What was that? Shanghai, Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu. Come on, guys, pick it up. Answer. The right answer, Shanghai. It became the hub of modern print culture. I just spoke about it. Is it not? Awesome, guys, awesome. Now, from China, moving on to Japan, right? Who brought it? The Buddhist missionaries from China. All right, they moved to Japan. They introduced the hand printing technology, which we just spoke about, right? Where stitching happens. Yeah, when did this happen? Almost 200 years later, 2 centuries later, 768 to 770, right? The oldest book when it comes to Japan, though after introduction of the hand printing technology, it took almost 100 years for the book to come in, the first printed book, which is the oldest Japanese book in Japan. It was in 868 AD, and that's called Diamond Sutra, right? So how many pages were there? 6 pages of text, wood cut text that was there. Okay, so they started printing on textiles, playing cards, paper, okay, currencies, etc. Okay, so similar to China, you find a very, moment printing technology came into Japan, you find the culture started expanding. Reading habits started coming. Alright, you find more and more people started showing interest towards this. Okay, prose and poetry started flourishing. That's how it started in Japan. But you should remember, it is 768 to 770 Buddhist monks brought it, and 868 is when the first, in fact the old book in Japan came out. Got it? Right, look at these painting, guys. Ancient Japanese paintings. These are handwritten forms. The modern printing technology, this is not that easily possible. This is about woodblock printing. Okay, so mid 13th century, through the woodblock printing, okay, Tripitaka Koreana. Alright, that's a collection of Buddhist scripture that came out, and printings were done using 80,000 woodblocks. Okay, Tripitaka Koreana. So they were inscribed now because they were the most ancient, and that contained a collection of of information from India, China, Korea. Alright, so that is the reason it was registered in the UNESCO Memory of the World Register. Okay, this one, Tripitaka Koreana. Remember that. Okay, and that was done in year 2007. They put it in UNESCO. Right? It's an important scripture. Right, guys, look at this. This is what I mean by very similar to the wooden scripture. You got it? Now I hope you are very clear. This is the Tripitaka Koreana. Look at how it is. 80,000 blocks. Amazing, isn't it? Alright, so this is one preserved sculpture, and it was registered in the UNESCO Memory of the World Register. Yeah? Awesome. Okay. So another print about a day which is just starting, a morning scene. Okay? So a man looks out of the window during the snowfall. Women are preparing tea and getting ready with their domestic duties. Okay, now we have seen China, we have also seen Japan. After Japan, we are moving to print comes to Europe. So who brought it to Europe? If you look at it, it was very interesting. Obviously it is in East Asia. From there, someone traveled to Italy, brought this culture to Italy. Who was that? Any idea, guys? Should it be Marco Polo? Find out. Yeah. So for centuries, silk and spices from China, it was the most famous Silk Route, they call it as Silk Route, right? Which moved from Asia to the Mediterranean, right? Covering China, Korea, India, Persia, right? That's what we call as the Silk Route, because silk trade was happening. So along with silk, you find that spices were also transported. Now, Marco Polo used the same route to bring print culture, to move print culture into Europe, specifically Italy, right? So who do you see in the picture? Marco Polo. Yep. Okay. So just because of this trade route expansion, you find that a lot of people started showing interest. Books became very cheap as a result of it. More businessmen, students, all right, started reading. Okay. And the earlier hand printed technology became kind of a premium offering, where it became more of a luxury. You still want a hand printed stuff, but you preserve it. Okay, so that's how it started. So I hope you're clear. Right, again, learn a new word, vellum. What is vellum? Vellum is using animal skin, a parchment with animal skin. All right, you see that? This is animal skin. Getting it? All right, guys. Once the demand started coming, Europe began exporting books to many different countries. Book fairs happened. The print culture started expanding very rapidly. So the Cbse, okay, this is another print form, and this Cbse is nothing but a print form using metals. Nowadays it is very common. Just before some time, not the digital age, before that we use metals, solid metal printing. Alright, that's, the oldest form of that is called Cbse, movable metal types. Okay, so essential forms, all scriptures of the Zen Buddhism, everything started coming, and 150 monks roughly from India, China and Korea are mentioned in that book, Cbse, right? And it was printed in the late 14th century. Okay, it was also registered in the UNESCO Memory of the World. Yes, guys? Okay. So now there was still a great need, because print, as you know, right, even if when you look at newspaper, how many thousands, millions of copies are required. So there was a need for quicker reproduction, cheaper reproduction, duplication of text, whatever that is created. Okay, so they were looking at a modern print technology. So someone has to invent a printing press, right? So who invented a printing press? Come on guys, who is it? Johann Gutenberg, right? So he was more of a goldsmith, but he also learnt a lot of technology with which he invented the first printing press. Okay, all right. Now the oldest Japanese book printed in 868 AD was what? Come on guys, guess. Diamond Sutra, correct? Yeah, Diamond Sutra. Right. Which printing technology Marco Polo brought to Italy through the Silk Route? Hand painting, book binding, paper making, woodblock printing. I think this is something which you need to find out. I didn't speak about it actually. I have spoken about the technology, but I did not say Marco Polo brought it. It is woodblock printing, guys. Okay. So the first form of print technology that came to Europe is woodblock printing. Okay. Okay, who developed the first non-printing press? I'm sure you will not miss this. We just covered this. Keilun, Charles Francis Jenkins, Marco Polo, Johann Gutenberg. Obviously, it is Johann Gutenberg. Right, guys? Okay. How did the production of manuscripts become possible? How in Europe? Because how was it possible to Europe? It was in East Asia. So how was it possible in Europe? Paper reached Europe via the Arab world. Chinese paper reached Europe via the Silk Route. European discovered paper? None of the above. I'm sure you will figure it out. I spoke about it in elaboration. The right answer? Chinese paper reached Europe through the Silk Route. I told you, right? When Marco Polo, he used the Silk Route to move the print technology, or in fact to bring the print technology into Europe. Italy. Got it, guys? So this B is the right answer. You can see that, right? Okay. Right, guys. So I hope we covered a fair bit of print culture and the modern world today. In the coming series, I'll summarize all the important dates that are there, along with how it all evolved and we are here today. Right? So I'll do a summary and also, cover the remaining aspects of the print culture and the modern world in the upcoming series next week. Alright guys, until I see you next week, this is Sundar Ravindranathan signing off. Bye bye.